Hello and welcome, my name is Talon, and in this video I'm going to give a brief overview / tutorial of Oxygen Not Included. This is a space colony simulator currently under development by Klei, the developers of Don't Starve. In this game you take control of the colonists, known as duplicants, of a fledgling settlement located inside an asteroid, managing not only the supply of food but also the very oxygen they need to breathe. The game is in early access but receives regular updates, adding new mechanics, resources and buildings. The most recent update, the occupational upgrade, adds a job progression system and automatic resource transportation. If I click on New Game, from this screen you can choose either a standard game with default settings or customize them to alter the game's difficulty. The first setting is the immune systems. As your duplicants interact with the environment, they can pick up germs from the surface of buildings or from the air they breathe. These germs multiply inside the duplicant and, depending on the strength of their immune system, can gradually overwhelm them, leading to sickness and sometimes eventually death. You can choose either to have a very weak immune systems or negate the disease mechanic altogether. Next is the duplicant mood. Just about everything in the game, from the quality of the food you provide for your duplicants or the ugliness of the environment, impacts their stress levels. This setting allows you to set how easily your duplicants develop or recover from stress. If a duplicant becomes too stressed, they will refuse to perform errands and start acting out, anything from crying, annoying other duplicants, or damaging buildings, which forces you to repair them. Here you can choose whether or not they act out. Finally, we have the world gen seed. The asteroid in which your colony is located is generated randomly with different biomes and resource spawns. If you want to replay a world you or someone else has played before, you can enter the seed here. Major updates can alter the world gen process, so don't expect a seed to give you the same world in different versions of the game. Go ahead and start a standard game. The game gives you 3 duplicants with which to start your colony, each duplicant having a set of skill levels, perks and debuffs in the form of attributes and traits. For the most part, attributes determine how fast the duplicant can perform associated errands, such as cooking and construction, with higher numbers being better. Certain attributes, such as digging and strength, also have a bearing on aspects like damage inflicted on an enemy during combat and carrying capacity. Traits can further increase or decrease an attribute's level, or provide some other perk or debuff, such as reduced oxygen consumption. They can also prevent a duplicant from performing certain errands. For example, squeamish prevents a duplicant from offering medical aid to others. Interests are new to the occupational upgrade. You can assign any duplicant to any job, but each will have their own preferences. By aligning their assigned job with their interests, you'll boost the rate at which they gain experience and ultimately qualify for promotions. Finally, at the bottom is an overview of a duplicant's decor and food expectations. Moving through an area with lower decor or eating food of a lower food quality increases a duplicant's stress. Higher decor or higher quality food lowers it. On the right we can see how the duplicant will respond if they reach 100% stress. You can change a duplicant's name either by choosing your own or having the game select a new random name. However, mostly you'll want to randomize their attributes to give you a better start. In the early game, your duplicants will be doing a lot of digging and construction, so I recommend you prioritize having a high level of those attributes. Okay, so the 3 duplicants we selected are unceremoniously thrown out of the printing pod to start their lives in your colony. But they don't have to be alone. The printing pod is self-powered, and after a few in-game days or cycles it recharges and allows you to choose one of 3 new duplicants. You can't randomize these duplicants, but if none have any attributes you desire, you can skip and wait for the next batch. If your colony is at a nice equilibrium and you don't want to add any more duplicants, you can deactivate the pod and turn it back on again at a later date. You can move the camera around with the WASD keys and zoom in or out with the mouse wheel. If I hit Alt S, as well as hiding the UI for better screenshots, I can zoom out even further and show the extent of the unexplored terrain. Hovering the mouse cursor over a tile will tell you the contents. For instance, this tile here has about 1500 grams of oxygen. while this tile here has a vacuum. Clicking on a duplicate or any building will give you further details. In the top left of the screen is an overview of the colony. A picture of an asteroid with the red arrow is a calendar or clock showing you how many cycles have been played and how far through the current cycle you are. The shaded area represents nighttime when most of the duplicants will sleep. The colony's current population is next, and to the right of that we have the stress levels. The highest stress level in the colony is shown at all times, and by hovering over it you can show a breakdown of each duplicant's stress. Next to that we have the immunity level, showing the lowest strength in the colony, and similarly to the stress level you can hover over the indicator to show the duplicant breakdown. Lastly, on the top row is the total amount of food available. Your colony starts with a ration supply of 16,000 calories worth of food. Each duplicant consumes 1,000 calories, so this should last about 5 cycles, after which you need to have found a new supply. Beneath the summaries are the controls for the game speed. Hitting the spacebar will pause the game, allowing you to queue up orders, while the tab key cycles through the different speeds. The red alert button triggers a state of emergency, during which duplicants will forgo their basic needs, like eating or sleeping, to work on orders you've given them. Clicking this will obviously raise their stress levels, so use it carefully. Lastly, in this corner you have tips and notifications telling you anything your colony is missing, such as toilets, as well as any duplicants that are standing around doing nothing. Over in the top right corner we have the tabs for viewing the state of the colony in greater detail, as well as setting food or job policies. All but the research tab are available from the start, and you can unlock this tab by building a research station. The consumables tab lets you see how much of each food type you have, as well as allowing you to restrict duplicants from eating certain foods by unticking any of their checkboxes. This is useful for managing stress levels, as it allows you to keep picky duplicants away from low quality food. The Vitals tab shows the health stats of each duplicant. Any duplicant that is injured can recover by being assigned to a medbed. Each cycle you'll receive a report summarising how healthy your colony is in terms of the net loss or gain of oxygen, food and power. You can click the buttons at the top to navigate through past reports. This is the Jobs tab. The top half is new to the occupational upgrade and allows you to assign duplicants to jobs. It is currently locked until a jobs desk is built. Similar to the Consumables tab, the lower half allows you to restrict duplicants from performing certain errands. Some buildings, such as the research station, consume power when used, so by restricting research to duplicants with a higher skill, and therefore who do research faster, you can use your resources more efficiently. Errands to the left are given a higher precedence than those on the right, so combat orders will be performed before any dig orders. Duplicants with higher skills, who should therefore be prioritised to do errands, are shown with a slightly deeper shade of pink than their fellow duplicants. Any duplicants who have traits that prevent them from performing errands have no checkbox associated with them. Bottom right of the screen contains your orders buttons. You can't control duplicants directly, other than to tell them to move to a new spot. But you can request errands to be performed, such as digging the terrain or attacking creatures. When you select an order, you can assign the priority. Errands with a higher priority are performed before those with a lower priority, but if two errands have the same priority, duplicants will perform them in the order of precedence shown in the Jobs tab. Over to the left are the building menus. These will be greyed out until you have enough resources to construct the building, but most are locked until you've done the necessary research. To build, just click on the picture and place it in the world. You can hold the left mouse button and drag to place more than one at a time. And you can click on the cancel to remove the order. This is a game I've been playing for a few cycles. You can see as we've pushed the base out, the darkness has receded and we can see some of the different biomes, such as this caustic biome, and over the right, the slime biome. Now that we have a research station, if we open the research tab, you can see the game's tech tree. Simply click on an item and the duplicant will research that. You can research all the basic ones one after the other, or you can go ahead and click on a more advanced research item and any prerequisite research will be completed along the way. Back in the jobs tab, we've assigned Catalina to the apprentice miner position, and as she's been digging, she's gained experience. Once she reaches 100%, she'll qualify for the miner's position. As duplicants gain higher positions, their expectations increase, as shown above. So expect their stress levels to become more unstable. Finally, we have the overlay screens. The first one is the oxygen, showing you areas where your duplicants can breathe comfortably, highlighted in blue. These red areas have no oxygen, and duplicants standing in them will be holding their breaths. Power, plumbing and ventilation overlays show you the schematics of the base. The power one here shows you the layouts of the wires that I've placed, as well as any power generators, the batteries and any consumers such as the pumps. In the plumbing overlay, you can see the liquid pipes as well as packets of water being pumped out of this pool and up to this vent. The ventilation overlay shows a similar thing but for the gas ducts. The last important overlay is the germ overlay. Here you can see the concentration of germs throughout the environment. There are two types of germs in the game, food poisoning shown in yellow and slime lung shown over here in green. Unlike food poisoning, slime lung disease is fatal unless the infected duplicant is treated by way of a medbed. However, the primary source of slime lung is the slime biome, so it's best to avoid that area until you have the facilities to either destroy the germs carried into the colony by your duplicants or a med bay to treat infected colonists. Duplicants will go around the world and disinfect any tiles or buildings to remove surface germs if the germs are of a high enough count. You can set the threshold at which they disinfect buildings in the overlay. Otherwise, you can click on the disinfect order and this will queue up an errand for duplicants to go and disinfect that item. That covers the UI and interacting with your duplicants. The last thing I want to cover before wrapping up is the main feature of Oxygen Not Included, and that is gases. There are a few different types of gases other than carbon dioxide and oxygen, such as hydrogen and chlorine. Each has a relative weight and will try to settle with lighter gases on top. If I open the oxygen overlay, you can see the tiles of carbon dioxide and oxygen moving around each other. Gases aren't toxic by themselves and won't kill your duplicants outright, though some are hot enough to fatally scald your duplicants, but unless they have access to oxygen, duplicants will eventually suffocate and die. A large part of your game is therefore managing the movement of gases to keep your colony oxygen rich. That covers most of the basics of the game. I've left out a few, such as temperature, that I feel are a little bit more mid to late game. If you found this video helpful, please consider clicking the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. My name is Talon. Thank you for watching.